all know this is bad. I mean, things got so bad today that the People's Republic of China, the embassy here, put out a tweet, which was nothing but a recording of Ronald Reagan explaining 10 reasons why tariffs are bad.
Right.
So what we have is the communist government of China. The communist government of China is telling us that we need to stick to our free market roots that we were just talking about, invoking Ronald Reagan against the president who has enacted, a Republican president who's enacted the largest tax increase probably in the history of mankind.
Yeah. Amen.
It's completely insane.
It is. This is where we are, folks. Where the Chinese are trying to help us get our economic policy right. I can't even begin to tell you how crazy that is.
An insane asylum and political asylum are somehow related because they both have the words asylum in them.
Yeah.
I mean, and not therefore, that's why he thinks of, I cannot figure out for the life of me what the point he's making with having Hannibal Lecter over for dinner.
Yeah, but you know better than anybody. The weird thing that he does, he said that first in the Jersey speech he gave down in Wildwood, where he was 10 bazillion people were there, right? That was you could see.
Yeah, there were like 4,000 people there, and he said there were 107,000.
Yeah. But he said it that first time, and what he does so often is when something gets attention, he said Hannibal Lecter, he said Hannibal Lecter. Every speech, every time. Oh no, I'm going to say Hannibal Lecter.
And people go
Lecter.
Right. No, that's the thing is he has no actual sense of humor because he's
to
actually
laughter thing.
Have a sense of to have a really refined sense of humor. I mean, these, you see these comedians like Kimmel and all these people on television. They're the smartest people you see on television.
Yeah,
they really are because they have this way of putting things together and seeing ironies that other people can't see, and that takes not only great intelligence but a great sense of empathy and a great sense of an understanding of the human mind and soul. He has none of that as a sociopath, which is why he doesn't actually understand humor, which is why he's not really funny, which is why you never ever actually see him laugh the way Kamala Harris does, for example.
right.
He doesn't have a sense of humor. What he knows is he knows how to insult people. He knows how to attack people and mock people, but not because it's not necessarily in a funny way, because it lacks any subtlety or irony, but he thinks that's what humor is.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's more like a power play. He doesn't, and then when he sees people laugh, he doesn't know why they're laughing. He really doesn't, unless he's insulting somebody and mocking somebody and putting somebody down.
Are narcissists insecure? Like, because that's where people get people say to me, how can they be insecure and full of themselves at the same time? And then, so how is that possible?
It is, but that's the essence of narcissism. Okay. Narcissism is when somebody, it's caused by basically just deep insecurity that somebody either is, I don't know, born with maybe, or just develops as a young child. And they deep down fear that they are not good enough. They fear failure. They fear that people are mocking them and making fun of them. And they overcompensate by being, by demeaning people, by trying to exercise control over them, by being, doing all the things that we see narcissists do. And that's why they're very, very sensitive to criticism. And in Trump's case, I mean, there have been books written about this. There's a great book written by Dr. Justin Frank, a Harvard-trained psychiatrist here in Washington, D.C. And then there's this amazing book by Mary Trump, who actually saw all this firsthand, where basically it was because he had an abusive father who was sociopathic. And that was part of, and he had a mother who was very remote. Yeah. And that combination leads him to, he's a 5-year-old still.
Yeah, throwing rocks at babies.
He's a child. He's like, and it's all about him. It's all about, he never learned how to be an adult and how to be a human being.
And then there's trauma from when he was very young that he said he just stuck. He's just stuck there.
Yeah, and I think he was wired a certain way too. I mean, there's a description of him, of a neighbor remembers him when he was like 5 or 6 years old, throwing rocks at a toddler's playpen in a neighbor's yard. Okay. And Trump tells the story about him he assaulted a teacher once, and he got sent to military school because his father found, a set of knives, not kitchen knives, but weapons in his bedroom. That's why his father sent him to the New York, that New York school, whatever the military school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was never, as I say in these ads, he was never right in the head.